Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Times Talk podcast, where you talk and we listen. Today we are joined by Mnqobi, who is part of the Student Representative Committee of the UNESCO. He is a leader, Secretary General, who has information about what's been going on in the ground at the universities. So today our topic is going to be centered around scholarship allowances. Mnqobi, how are you?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. There's been a lot of chat at the universities in terms of, is the student allowance enough and what can government do? Where did this whole conversation start from and where are you now in that process?
All right, thank you, my brother. Yes, the issue of allowances, personal allowances, as dispersed by the government, and their deficiency, which is the overall, or rather, it's the comprehensive thought among students, is that the allowances are not enough. Now, that particular conversation has been going on for years, even before our tenure. My tenure as Secretary General, our tenure as the current SRCs.
Okay, sorry, just a bit of background in terms of Secretary General. What's your role in the committee as Secretary General?
As Secretary General, I coordinate the activities of the Student Representative Council.
Okay.
I am the chief scribe. So I release memorandum, communication between the relevant offices, being the Dean of Student Affairs office and the student's office. I'm the liaison between the local secretaries and their local governments.
So basically you know everything, literally everything that's happening in the ground at UNESCO?
I certainly would say so. I would think so. Yes.
Okay. Now keep going.
Yeah, okay. So basically what I was saying is the conversation began way before we took office.
Okay.
We only took office this year. Okay. So immediately after we took office, one of our main goals with the president of the SRC was that we wanted to ensure that this issue of students complaining about student allowances being deficient needs to be dealt with comprehensively and in real time. So we then endeavored to bring together the SRCs of the different tertiary institutions in the country, certainly the ones that are government sponsored.
Okay. So
we met at, I think there was a sports bonanza that was taking place on the 29th of March of this year.
Sports games?
Sports games,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
And we met there and we had a brief conversation, and then we set up a more formal meeting which took place at UNESCO, and we discussed the 1,690 Malanga that we currently receive from the government as a personal allowance. And it was broken down to say, obviously when that particular figure, when government came up with that particular figure, they had broken it down to say, you'll need 700 Malanga for rent, you will, I think it's 800. You will need this much for clothing, you'll need this much for, small stationery like your pens, you need this much for transport, all of those things. So we took that and we reviewed it. And obviously it was outdated.
It was outdated because the prices have certainly shot up,
Yes, everything has gone up now. And you can't have something that integral to a student's life, to their livelihood in the university, be stagnant while the prices go up.
Yeah.
Because certainly what you're doing to this student is saying, students rely on this money.
Of course.
They do. And our families back home, they look at student allowance, little as they are, to say this should sustain you for the entire month. It doesn't.
It doesn't. In reality, it
really doesn't. So it certainly was the right time to say, let us review it. So we got together under one roof and we said, we are going to draft a letter, or rather, before I get there, after reviewing the 1.690 and looking at where they got those particular figures, we compared it to current market prices to say, if they had said local travel is 5 Malanga, it's no longer 5.
It's no longer 5. It's shot up double now. It's actually 10 Malanga.
It's
for
10,
local.
Exactly.
Local trips.
You can't get a local trip for less than, even if you're going from for 5 meters. It's going to be 10 Malanga. The fact that you boarded the combi.
The combi, yeah, true.
So we then.
So sorry to cut you off, but I just want to understand for how long has this been 1.690 been implemented?
The 1.690
2025.
That's a very good question. I would be remiss to give you the actual date, but it's been more than a decade.
More than a decade.
It's been more than a decade, and it hasn't been reviewed at that particular time.
Then.
Yes, it's been more than a decade. The system was different back then. It was changed, and it certainly was decreased from what it was back then, which is ironic. It was decreased to 1.690.
But the standard of living is going up at the same time.
Up. Yeah. So, obviously it's time to review it and to make a change. And we then contrasted our own. So I'm just trying to give you the background.
The background story, okay.
Yes. To say, how did we get here? We then contrasted the breakdown of the 1.690 with our own assessment currently. See, right now, how much is it to rent on average? Right now, groceries cost how much on average?
On average, yes.
Right? And then we said, okay, we broke it down because we didn't want to just also bring up a figure and say, you know what, give us 5K. Because it obviously has to be informed by data.
Of course.
And this is government we're working with. And there has to be efficiency, it has to be reasonable. You need to substantiate where you got those particular figures.
Of course.
So we did that, and we arrived at a particular figure, which we broke it down, and then we wrote a letter to the ministry. And we requested a meeting. We first requested a meeting with the ministry, but that particular letter wasn't responded to.
Being the Ministry of Labor.
The Ministry of Labor and Social Security, they're the ones who disperse our grants or our allowances. So we wrote a letter to them as being the relevant ministry, and we're unfortunate in that we're just asking for a roundtable where we can sit down and discuss our issues.
Have a discussion with them. Yeah.
They did not respond, unfortunately, at that time, for one reason or other. So then we wrote a follow-up letter, and we tried different avenues. We wrote a follow-up letter to the ministry, and this time around made it clear as to what the meeting is for. And of course, we had said in the first letter, but this time around we made it more succinct and more, substantive, as it were, to say this is the amount of money that we are proposing based on these particular figures and all of it. We wrote down on that letter, and we all, appended our signatures, and we sent it to the ministry. Now, what has happened subsequently is a lot of engagements between the Ministry of Education, between the parliamentary committee that's right now looking at the loan recovery fund of like scholarships.
Yeah, true.
We went there and we put this issue down. We said, I think they were looking into issues of nepotism when scholarships are being dispersed. But we said, put this issue of allowance increment in your agenda. So we did all of those things, and now we've arrived at a point where, subsequent to the article that your newspaper wrote, where the minister, Mr. Buthelezi, confirmed that there's a proposal on the table. We are proposing this amount. Now, maybe we'll speak to that a little bit later as to if we agree to that particular amount that he spoke of or not. But at least he had spoken of that. Now, subsequent to that, there was a meeting where they called all the SRCs, right? The Minister of Labor, which we really did appreciate, and we tabled it and we said the money is not enough. So this is why we're here. I think it's been a long journey, especially insofar as I'm concerned. We've been on the ground working this issue, and we certainly hope that is it true?
Okay, interesting journey that you guys have been in. Just to specify for the viewers that are out there, how much money has been put on the table by the government? Let's just get straight to it.
The government has put on the table 2,000 per month from 1,690. So that's an addition of 310
310.
Okay.
Do you think that is enough?
A very good, pertinent question, because like I said, we wouldn't be cynical. I don't want to be cynical.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that there are people that have read the article, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have gotten response.
Certainly.
I would love to know what that response was and how are the students taking it. Are they saying it's enough or? How did they take it?
The simple answer to that one is that the 2,000 Malawian, it's an increase, right? But it's not sufficient still.
I mean, one would say it's better than zero.
Of course, if you add 1 to 1, you make 2, right? 2 is better than 1, but is 2 still enough for you to, if you had a complaint to say, I need 3, right? And then you put me at 2. I'm that much closer to 3, but I'm still not at 3.
It's still not at 3.
I'm still not at 3.
Okay.
So, and there was a reason why I put up 3, and I substantiated my reasons.
By the facts, the research behind it.
Exactly. I gave you data for it. There are statistics. It wasn't just, a spur of the moment thing to say, oh, you know what, I would love to have 6.5. We sat down. So the simple answer is that maybe the ministry can, I certainly hope that they would be able to substantiate that. The same way that they did with the 1,690. It's an odd number, 690. Why not 1.7?
Yeah,
it's 1,690. Specifically because it was broken down into, okay, this much is needed, this much is needed. So it was surgically put together. You understand?
Have they actually substantiated why they put the 2,000 Malawian in?
There hasn't been any substantiation, which is what I'm saying. That
so
we need to have reasons as to why. How have they arrived at 2,000
Malawian? Yeah,
and
true.
If that is a rebuttal to what we had proposed, then we would hope that the ministry would engage us to say we're going to 2,000 Malawian because of reason being A, B, C, right? We certainly haven't gotten that, and obviously, when you go to a student, like you said, and you say, for so long, you've been earning peanuts. You've been getting peanuts, right?
Yeah.
It's not enough money.
True.
Now, I'm adding a bit more peanuts to the sack of peanuts that I've been giving you. If I've been suffering for so long, the immediate thought, even if you give me 2 peanuts, is that, oh my days, better than the peanuts I was getting before. But we have to be, this requires us to be sober-minded.
True.
Because once we agree to this particular increment, when's the next time such
you are
engagement
going to have that discussion? So it's a very critical moment for you guys. Very critical moment.
We have to, the fact that the ministry has opened its doors to us, the government has essentially said to us,
listening to you.
They've listened and they see the need. They definitely do. They've admitted that it was tabled they've been talking about it for a long time, but there has been no movement. So when next are we going to have a moment like this? You need to capitalize when the person says, my table is open for you to come and have a seat and let's talk, right? And if he's saying he's giving me this much, I mustn't grab it at the first go. Logic tells us that. I must then state that, if I'm not accepting it, why am I not accepting it?
Why are you not accepting it? Of course.
I think this is what we require from the ministry. Let's have a back and forth. Let's have a discussion to that end.
At least there is one that is tabled,
Exactly.
rather than not having the conversation at all.
Exactly. But that particular, like I said, we must be objective in the way that we think about these things. Like I said, even though the ministry has opened it and said to us that we are available and we want to increase your 1,690, you still haven't given me reasons as to how have you gotten to 2,000. You haven't given me the opportunity to sit down with you and have a proper engagement where we talk about these figures, not just an issue of, oh, I saw your letter and I saw how much you're proposing. Okay, but you really need an increment. But so I'll increase it for you. I'll give you 10 to 10 and 9. But you don't substantiate. You don't say anything
about it. Yeah. I think that's where the ministry has it kind of where they lost the way. Because if they give you a figure, they need to substantiate why they're saying that figure should be enough.
Definitely.
And in terms of the grievances that you are getting, I'm pretty sure you get a lot of grievances from the students. Yeah. Tabled is transportation, food, and accommodation. Across all those 3, which is the most prominent one?
Well, certainly, just to recap, it's meals, right? It's
Okay.
meal allowance in that 1.6. It's meals, rent, personal allowance, which is, meals, rent, and transport. Those are basic needs. You can't
Basic
live without
needs,
those.
of course.
Then you're not a student. You really can't do anything without those. You still need to have a personal allowance to buy data,
By data, because now we're in the digital age, of course.
to be able to print your
To
assignments.
print assignments, of course.
Do you understand? To do these things that are not a luxury,
By
but
necessity.
they are a necessity. Those fall under the personal allowance. So to answer your question, I would be remiss to say this one is bigger than the other. It's more important than the other.
Okay, they're all grouped together.
Because what good is transport if it's on an empty stomach?
True.
Because I'm gonna collapse now, and I won't be able to learn properly. And it juxtapose that you give me a meal but no transport. How am I gonna get to school? I'm missing lessons.
True.
So which one is better?
They all have to go together. In my opinion, they all have to go together.
Certainly. That's why they're here, because they are basics. So it would be hard for me to give you a straight answer to say I'm picking this one. I would be very remiss to do that. And the grievances all revolve around this. There isn't one that's more prominent than the other.
Yeah. They're all equally.
They certainly are. And at UNESCO we've had the highest rate of suicides in the past academic year. I think there's close to 10 students that passed away from suicide.
I actually didn't want to get to that, but since we're there now, do you think that the allowance has influence in the suicide numbers or suicide cases?
The simple answer is yes, without a doubt. Students kill themselves because of issues that we all go through.
Yeah, true.
And like I said in the beginning, for a general student, average student at a tertiary institution in Eswatini and it's government sponsored, that student relies on that 1,690.
Yeah.
Has to. Without that scholarship, that student is not a tertiary. So definitely, a student will find themselves. Obviously, we can't get into someone's head or what, but the patterns all point towards this person had issues financially, and their friends are telling us the same thing, that they were struggling, and they just could not bear it anymore. Whether landlord was on their neck every month, I'm owing rent of 3 months. Now it's difficult for me to even walk around the yard. You understand? Because landlord, he needs his money. So certainly that would drive the students to do something that is unsavory and tragic. We can't attribute all those suicide cases to it, but the majority of them, I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, were caused by lack of finances and the fact that this money that the government disperses is just simply not enough.
Not enough. True. I do hope that the government is probably listening to the podcast and what Mnqobi has to say. Before I let you go, on a daily basis, how many grievances do you have to deal with on a day-to-day? How does Mnqobi's day look like at the university?
My day at the university is quite, I think, unconventional as compared to the normal student. But it's just a responsibility. You get phone calls right now. I think while we're shooting this podcast,
you've been getting phone calls.
It's been and perhaps that's because we're in a busy period right now where students we just got our results and they need clarity with how am I subbing, how am I doing this, academic issues. But day in the life, you engage the office of the DSA, you have to respond to student messages on Facebook and on WhatsApp, and you have to respond to each one of those people because they put you there for you to assist them. So really, when you're in the position that I'm in, you sort of have to sacrifice something, whether it's your academics
Or
or
time,
it's your personal
your
life,
personal life, of course.
or your fun, or your romantic life, or you have to sacrifice something.
Then what's in it for you? One would ask. What's in it for you? Why are you in that position?
Service.
Service.
I am a lover of service. I pride myself in giving to others,
Of course.
and the skills that God has given to me, and I love serving. I love serving. That's the simple answer of it. There's nothing more to it. I love being of service, especially to people who have placed their trust in me, because the students who put me here, they nominated me, and they certainly voted me into office. So there's still a long way to go, and there's we're fighting issues each and every day, but I'm a very optimistic person. I'm a very optimistic person, and we'll certainly continue to fight for student issues. This is just the beginning. Yes, maybe just to clarify for your viewers, because we've been dancing around the bush, and maybe somebody will ask themselves,
Okay.
we'll see.
Not giving specifics. Why? We were gonna get to them. I was gonna ask them, of course. But since you sparked it up, you can continue.
This is a figure that may maybe shock some of you, some of your viewers there. But this is how we've broken it down. So we've broken it down into meals,
Okay.
and we've said to ourselves, breakfast at the average can be 7.50 per day. Times 31 days, that gives you 225 for breakfast. Lunch and supper, 25 times 31 days, that's 1,550. So that's just food. See, we've already gone past 1.690. Just
True.
food, just meals.
Just on meals.
Then rent. Here we've said 1,000 per month, but there's obviously room for wiggle there, for negotiation. That's why we go to these tables, to have negotiation. But at Kwaluseni Street, for example, that's a commercial block. Those landlords don't play. It's very expensive. There's a student accommodation that just got opened outside of just opposite the University Gate, and it's 2,000 in Malanga to stay there.
Wow.
It's a girls' hostel type of thing. And most of these, and all of these landlords, when they see that the prices are going up, they do it together.
Like competitive pricing.
Competitive pricing is what they do. So we've said 1,000 Malangeni per month in view of the trend of what's going on
around. Yeah.
And then we've gone to personal allowance. It's 1,000 per month. You still need clothes to wear. We don't have uniforms at these tertiary institutions, and you need to be clothed. You need, like I said, you need to buy data. You need to buy all these things. You need to buy stationery and all of it. And then we have transport, which is 400 Malangeni per month, which brings our total to 4,175. Now, I don't want to leave it there, because one will say to me, Mnqobi, you're being unrealistic. You and your leaders have been unrealistic.
You guys are confused with the numbers.
Yes.
One would say that.
But we certainly can back these numbers up.
Of course.
At any table, we can always back these up. Now, like I said, we come to the table in good faith. In good faith. Not as, scoundrels, or like we're fighting. No. We certainly are fighting, but we're not aggressive. We're not aggressive. There's a term I'm looking for. We are not that. We're not hostile.
Not hostile.
So we are open. We are open to engagement. That's why we're there. We're open to engagement. And with that being said, the 4,175 Malangeni, if the government were to say to us, we simply don't have that much money, then we say, how much are you able to give? But that has to be within the confines of what's reasonable for the student to receive. You can't say, no, I can only give you 200 Malangeni. No, but based on the negotiations we're having, then that's bad faith negotiating. You understand?
What if they would pose this question, a question that you guys have been going on with the 1,690, and what's stopping you now?
At what cost? At what cost? Look at this. Look at the situation on the ground. Students are suffering.
Bad.
It's terrible.
It's bad.
9 suicides in one academic year, unprecedented. A majority of them point towards financial lack. You understand? We to say that argument is really would be a non-starter. Because students are suffering. They drop out by the dozens because of lack of money, because of lack of having enough. It's, students sometimes they have to share this money with their families back home. There's such cases, more of them than you would imagine. It's not enough for Mnqobi Mamba. Imagine now I have to from
the peanuts that I have.
So one would have to, before you ask that question, you'd have to put yourself in the student's shoes.
Before you, yeah.
You understand? You'd have to put yourself in that person's shoes before you can say so, or pose that question, because I really think this one is a non-starter. Like I said, the government sees it as well, and that's why I said we must be appreciative of their openness in this endeavor. And their ability to come to the table. Now we're saying, don't be so quick to leave the table. Don't be so quick to leave the table. Give us an answer, but give us the answer on the table, so then we can review the answer and we can talk about the answer.
We can have a discussion.
Collectively, we will then come to an agreement that works for both of us, or a compromise, as it were. So that certainly would be my parting shot.
To answer to that. Okay. Apparently, well, according to what social media is saying, you have opened your own law firm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How is that going?
It's going.
So I didn't even ask what you're actually studying. You're studying law?
I'm studying law at the university.
Okay. Great stuff. So I have a lawyer now.
Yeah.
What are your fees?
We can talk about my fees. I won't teach you too much. Don't try.
Okay. So you started your own law firm. Great news, great stuff, by the way. We love. We're really passionate about the young people, just getting it out there, hustling, as I would call it, or trying to make their own money, trying to make their own living, in a sense. So how did you get there?
Well, I must clarify that, the core mandate of it is to afford students the right to access to justice. We want students to be able to access justice. And what that means is that we want them to have legal representation where they do not have the know-how. So we cater to university students. It's a student law firm. Before people think, I haven't graduated, obviously I'm still a student. So I couldn't open a law firm as an attorney would. But under the laws of the university, of the statutes of the university and the regulations, I certainly have an ability to open a student's law firm that caters to the students within UNESWA, whether it's Iluyemo, Mbabane, or Waluseni. We represent them at student disciplinary hearings. We represent them in academic misconduct appeals. We assist them in drafting whatever documents they need, where they don't know how to. We offer that particular assistance, and obviously, our prices are very student friendly. Like I said, this is not it's not for gain. It's rather for, of course, we'll be gaining experience, but it is once again, we're seeking to serve the community. We saw a gap that students are not represented. They are not represented well enough. And most of the time they get harsh sentences or harsh fates in these disciplinary things and these internal procedures for lack of knowledge or for lack of having somebody who advised them properly. So we're there to fill in that gap, and we also will be catering to the other tertiary institutions in accordance with their regulations and their statutes. I stand to be corrected. UNESCO is the only one with the university. Yeah, we certainly have the only law firm because we're the only ones that offer LLB.
Oh, okay.
Currently.
Okay.
But I wanted to say that we're the only ones with the statute, like the University Act. But the others have regulations that regulate them or their constitutions. So in accordance with those, we either offer legal advice to those students who find themselves in similar situations, but they are not at UNESCO, or we draft for them those papers so they can go and defend themselves accordingly.
Of course.
Just general legal opinion. Across a plethora, it's not just this is student disciplinary matters. Contract reviewing, things of that nature. We certainly are there to dispose.
Of course. As you heard it yourselves, guys, Mnqobi is here to serve. Is here to serve the students in whatever issue that they are dealing with. There's a lot we have learned today, and thank you for coming through, Mnqobi. Before we close, what would you like to maybe give hope to the students in terms of this procedure of getting that 4,000, you said? That 4,000 allowance increase?
Well, what I can say to students is that I know there's been a lot of skepticism, and we've certainly dealt with a lot of it. Because like I said, it's been a long-standing issue.
Of course.
So when you come forth and you say, I'm doing something, or it seems as though you're playing with our feelings. And that was justifiable in the given circumstances. But what I can say is that, the proof is in the pudding, and, the developments are really there. And what I can say is, and this is not just our issue as leaders, but it's our issue. So as my students, in any tertiary institution in the country that is government sponsored, let us not be pessimistic, let's be optimistic, and let us join hands, and let's engage. I always love engagement. Like I've said, we've made it clear here and what the figures are. Certainly, if you have a rebuttal or you have something to add or you feel like you have a difference of opinion, let's engage. Let's engage. I've always said, how nice would it be to have a student in-down across all the tertiary institutions? Do you know how massive that would be to bring together all the students in there and then we discuss these particular issues? But yes, the end is near, and let us keep hoping. And we certainly are pleading with the government and the relevant ministries to please give us a voice and allow us to come into your table. We are not coming with violence. We are coming in good faith, and we want together to build better citizens for this country. And part of that is ensuring that this particular journey is seen to its particular end. So kindly come to us as Sidotilwan and allow us to engage you. Students must remain optimistic, and we hope the government will be on our side on this.
Great stuff. Okay, let's have the conversation. That's what I'm glad about. You guys are having a conversation. Government, the ball is in your court. The students are there for you. They're listening, and they're willing to help. Thank you. Thank you, my brother.